All right, let's try to tackle the topic of BitTorrent. BitTorrent is a system that allows you to download music, programs, movies, video, just about anything, books, just about anything that you can think of, you can download through BitTorrent. BitTorrent was actually designed in response to when Napster was shut down. This technology was created as a system that was completely decentralized so that if it was shut down in one area, it wouldn't take down the entire network. Napster had a centralized server, so you take down that centralized server and you've essentially slain the demon. In this case, you can't really do that. But that also means that it's going to be a little bit more complicated. However, it's not like the end of the world complicated. Now, what you do with this is completely up to you. You can use it for both legitimate and illegitimate reasons. You can download things legally or you can download things illegally through this. That's completely up to you what you do with it. I'm just going to show you how to use the technology itself. So first thing, there's a couple aspects. There's a torrent program, there's a torrent search engine, torrent files, and then the actual file that you're trying to get itself. So what do I mean by all of that? Let's take a look. It's actually not too complicated. First thing we need to do is get a torrent program. This one right here is the most common one, or perhaps the most common one. It's the one that I like to use the most. It's called uTorrent, and you can get to it through utorrent.com. If you click Get Torrent right here, it's going to take you to this page and do the free download. Okay. Once we download the program, which will appear down here, you can see it's pretty lightweight, so it'll be done here in just a couple seconds. We're going to launch the program. This is what is used to kind of build the torrent files or put them all together. I'm going to go ahead and click on it. I'm going to select Run. It's going to walk me through the installation. Good warning here, beware of scams. Next, peer-to-peer application. You're responsible for it. If you do anything illegal, it's your responsibility. Next is going to have me install. All of these are okay. I'm going to go through this pretty quickly, but it's important that you actually do read and kind of understand what these things are doing. This is how people install programs on their computer and they're not sure what they're doing. Don't follow the exact steps that I'm doing. Just understand the concept, because if you follow the exact steps, it's going to change in like 2 weeks from now or 3 weeks from now. This installer will be slightly different, and if it does, then you're going to be up the creek. So all of these are fine. Now here's where you want to be sure to be careful. Check out this new exclusive Spotlight release. No, we don't want to check that out. That's essentially how programs get loaded on your computer that you're unaware of. Same thing right here. Torrent browser bar, optional. We don't want any toolbars installed. Toolbars are generally bad. And do we accept this privacy guard thing? We do not, because we don't want that installed on our computer. That's just extra junk that we didn't go out and get. Once it's done, it launches, and here's our torrent program. What does this program do? This is essentially the program that goes and downloads the files for you. Now we need to find a torrent, which is a little tiny file that is kind of like your Kickstarter to download everything that you want to download. In order to find this file, we need to go to torrent search engines. You can use Google or Bing or whatever, but generally you get much better results if you go to actual torrent search engines. You can use this up here, but I believe this doesn't really, by default, it only does Bing and a couple other sites. I tend not to like this very much. So we need to go to a torrent-based search engine, kind of like a Google for torrents. Now, let us pull this guy up here, and we will. First, I'm going to show you the Pirate Bay. The Pirate Bay is the most well-known of all the torrent sites. Doesn't necessarily give you the best results. Another one did, but they shut down. They've given up and walked away from the project. So the Pirate Bay tends to be the most well-known and perhaps the most used one today. So I'm just going to show you this one so I can show you the concepts. We can search for something. I'm going to search for, let's say, Disturbed. Here are my search results. A couple things I want to point out. On torrent sites, the torrents themselves, these things, tend to be a little bit safer than many search sites or downloading sites. There's less viruses and infections in them, generally speaking. You should still obviously have an antivirus. This stuff right here, these advertisements, don't ever click on these. Ever, ever, ever. Same thing here. Download now, watch now. Do not download these things. This stuff right here, even if it's telling you, warning you have an infection, it doesn't know that you have an infection. It's just trying to trick you into clicking on it. So be careful not to click and install any of these ads around here. Same goes for most torrent sites. A lot of times there'll also be pornographic things showing, so be careful that just use some common sense. So to download torrents, you need to use a little bit of intelligence. For example, these are called seeds. These are called leeches. Seeds are people that have the complete file. So, for example, right here, 43 people have the complete file. Generally speaking, you want to find downloads with the most seeds. So, if I was looking for The Lost Children, and there was one that had 43 seeds and another one that had 10 seeds, I would go for the one that had 43 seeds. If you find one that has 0 seeds, such as this one, the file will actually never download because nobody has the complete file and there are no leeches, so this is essentially a dead torrent. The more seeds and leeches, generally speaking, the faster it downloads, so this one would download much faster than this guy right here. A couple other things you want to watch for. These categories are useful, but sometimes not very accurate. So things that I like to look at are the size. And you have to start learning the typical sizes of things. So for example, if I'm going to download music file, 150 meg, that's actually kind of a little bit big, but not bad for a music file. If the music file was like 2 megabytes, you see it says megabytes right here. If it was 2 megabytes, then that's not what I'm looking for. That's too small for an album. If you're downloading a book and it says that it's 20 megabytes, again, probably not what you're looking for because books tend to be pretty small. And if you're downloading a movie, then the movie should be 700 meg to up to 4 gig if you do like the super high quality. So it's good to kind of get familiar with the sizes of things, and that's a good way to know what you're downloading. Also, on a lot of these, there will be comments inside of them. Let's just check this one to see if there's any comments inside of here. And the comments are useful as well. This is telling you the different things that are available on the download, and there are no comments on this one. But sometimes the comments will actually tell you whether they are good downloads or illegitimate downloads, fake downloads, etc. So sometimes it's useful to read the comments that are on there. Now, every torrent site is going to be it's going to be significantly different. So this is showing you the Pirate Bay, and I'm showing you this again because it's the most well-known one. And if I wanted to download this torrent, I can either click the magnet link, which is the best one to do for this site, or if you click on the thing itself, there's this get this torrent. Again, here's an advertisement. This advertisement is not the torrent. So if you click download to this, you are going to be downloading some junk onto your computer. This is what you want to get this torrent. Again, be careful what you download. If you look at the bottom left corner of the screen down here, you can see that this is probably not a torrent. It's going to some funky site, whereas this one has that magnet link. Okay. So I'm going to show you another site. This one right here, you can download things that are open licensed, meaning that they are completely legal for me to download. So I want to show them to you. I'm going to select music, and I'm just going to select this guy right here. Notice again, we have, actually, I don't want to download this. That's really big. Let us look for something that's a little bit smaller. This guy looks good. So I'm going to download this file right here. Notice I see the size, the downloads. When I click on it, right here, here's the torrent file. And then here's the downloads. Seeds, 2 seeds for this one. So this one's probably going to take a while to download. It's been downloaded 70 times. So again, the same kind of information right here. All right, so let's go ahead and download this torrent. Notice it automatically pops up, and then it asks me where do I want to save this. Your save dialog may look like this, or maybe a little bit different. You may have something like this that appears. So remember, we want to put our music, videos, photos in areas that Media Player is going to be able to find for us. So remember those watched folders we talked about. So I'm going to hit that. I'm going to go into, let's say, my music, and I'm not going to put it in a subfolder but I would recommend that you create a new folder or keep things organized. I'm just going to go ahead and put it in the music folder and hit OK, hit OK. So now I've told the torrent to save it in the music folder. It's going to begin downloading here, and as it downloads, we can watch the progress. We'll see the up speed and the down speed. Also, we can select all of these items here, and or actually I should say just these items right here. I'm going to right click, and I don't want it to download all this extra stuff, so I'm going to say don't download. The reason why I know that these aren't things that I want is because this right here is the MP3 file. This is the music file. All of this, you see they're like URLs. They're essentially shortcuts to different web pages. I don't care about all of that. I just want the MP3 file. This is also useful if you want to download an entire album or just one song in an entire album. You can tell it not to download all of the other songs except the one song that you want. So our download is almost finished here. Now, if you remember, the next step in this is to make sure that it's available in Media Player, because it has to be available in Media Player for it to be seen on the network. So we are going to open up Windows Media Player here. I went ahead and re-added this torrent because one other thing I forgot to mention is make sure that you remove your torrent once it's done downloading. If you're constantly uploading all of these things to the rest of the world, which it does automatically by default, then it's going to take it's going to slow down your connection significantly. So once the file is done, it won't be read like this, but you just right click on it. Actually, the easier way is just to click remove right here. So make sure you do that after you're done downloading your torrent to keep your computer running at its top performance. So notice down here it says that it's updating the information from the media library right there. So remember, we saved it in that folder for Media Player, and now Media Player is looking through those folders to see if it finds anything new. And if I search for it, you see it's found it right here. Once it's found it right here, then you're going to be able to access it on anything throughout the house. I can also play it. Okay, so that's what we downloaded through BitTorrent. So that's pretty much it. Just, again, make sure that you understand what you download is your responsibility, but you can download pretty much just about anything through BitTorrent. It's an amazing technology. It's got a lot of legitimate uses. You can use it to add music, videos to your library, and so have fun with that.